is for all my Intro to Art students. I have two sections of that class, mostly ninth graders, but not all ninth graders. So this video is for both groups of my Intro to Art class. We were working on finishing up our color theory first project. Some of you were painting chairs, some of you were doing a watercolor painting. Most of you finished, but with all of the hoopla and craziness of COVID-19, we had to put the pause on that. I did send a couple people home their watercolor drawing. If I knew you were not finished with your watercolor painting and it was close at hand when I was working in the room, I set it with your stuff, but that's just a small handful of people. The rest of you, we will get those chairs finished and we will get the watercolor drawings or paintings finished at some point. So don't panic about that. We're not totally abandoning that project. It's just postponed. If you have yours, you can go ahead and continue to work on it. What I'd like to talk to you about today, and I'm going to try to make this as cohesive and easily to understand as possible. I'm going to talk to you about gridding out your black and white image. And before the break, everyone searched out a nice, crisp, high-resolution black and white image to use for this project. When I was kind of scrambling around to get your supplies together for you, some of them I found very easily. They had your name on them and they were in the class folder. Others had no name, others were kind of all over the room, and I did my best to remember who had what. So if you got a gridded hand picture, and I'm going to post that so you can kind of see what I'm doing. If you got one of those, don't feel like you have to use that. I just sent it with you so you would have something. But several people, I wasn't able to find your specific drawing that you, or your specific black and white image that you turned in. So don't panic. I'm not forcing you to use that hand as your grid drawing, but it's available if you need it. Most of you got your drawing with you with your big paper, and I'm going to talk to you today about how to grid that. If you're finding another picture, you changed your mind on a picture. I had a couple emails from people saying they changed their mind on the image. You just need to send it to me so I can okay the picture, but do it quickly so we can get started. And I have had a few people send me the new picture and I approved it. So I'm going to talk to you today about how to grid your black and white image for the grid drawing picture. This particular image is of a dog. I love that it's got a lot of lights and dark tones to it, but nothing is too dark in a certain area or too light. So it's a good picture for this project. This particular image is 7 inches by 4 inches. So 7 this way and 4 this way. And the grid drawing process is an exercise in drawing what you see, not what your brain is telling you something should look like. So we do it a certain way, and I require you to do it a certain way, and I'm going to give you all those directions here in just a moment. But the process is to take your image and to draw it larger on the big piece of paper. And the way we do that is we grid this out into 1-inch squares. So you are going to need a ruler. Pretty much every Providence Academy student, I think at some point has to have a ruler. So find your ruler and you will need it for this. It's also good to have a yardstick. I know not everyone has that. And I conveniently left all my yardsticks at school for us to use, and I forgot to bring them home. So I was thinking, without having to go out and buy something, what could I use? And I found this lovely thing in the garage. It's a level, but it works for this because it's got the measurements on it and it's a nice straight edge. So I'll be using this to grid out my bigger picture. Be creative. Ask a parent though first before you go raiding the garage or the basement. I'm getting ready to show you how to grid the original black and white picture. Okay, so like I said, this picture is 7 inches by 4 inches, and I'm going to use a colored pencil, a nice sharp colored pencil, to grid this out. And I suggest using a red or a yellow or an orange, something that you can see easily over the black and white. If we used a regular pencil, we wouldn't be able to see those grid lines very well. So I'm going to take this red pencil and put it along the edge of my image, and I'm just going to mark every 1 inch all the way across. Okay, and instead of turning my picture, I'm just going to move this straight up and do the same thing up here. Okay, then I'm going to take my ruler and connect the 2 dots. Okay, so now I'm going to do the other side of the picture. It is 4 inches. I like to work with whole numbers. If your image is not 4 by 7, or maybe it's 7 3/4 by 5.5, feel free to crop a little bit and make nice whole numbers. If you're a fabulous math student and want to do the math on all of this, you're welcome to go for that. But feel free to work with whole numbers. So I'm going to do the same on this side. Mark every 1 inch. Slide my ruler up. Do the same thing at this end. Okay, and then I'm going to connect my lines across using a pencil that's easy to see, like a red. Okay, so this is what a finished grid looks like. These are 1 inch boxes, and we are going to, depending on the size of your image, double the size of this, or if it's a smaller picture, triple the size of this on the big paper that I gave you. I tried to measure a lot of the pictures that I had to see what size paper to send home with you. So hopefully that part is figured out already for you. But this is the gridded photocopy, and I'm going to show you how to transfer that grid to the bigger piece of paper. Now I'm going to show you how to make a grid on your bigger paper so that you can start drawing. Alright, this bigger paper of mine is, I measured it already with my giant level, and it is 16 inches this way by 23 inches this way. My photocopy is 4 inches by 7 inches, so this is where we're going to start using our math. Whoever said you don't use math in the real world is wrong, because you use it a lot. So let's think, if we have got 16 inches this way, and we are going to double this picture, that would be 8 inches in here, and if I was going to triple it, it would be 12. And I think I'm going to triple it because I've got enough paper here. I'm going to leave that choice up to you, how you all want to do it. If you have enough paper with an edge around it to triple your grid drawing, go ahead and triple it. When I say triple, I mean the squares on my big paper are going to be 3 inches by 3 inches, and on my gridded photocopy they are 1 inch by 1 inch. If I was just doubling my picture, these squares on the big paper would be 2 inches by 2 inches. Hope that makes sense. So I'm going to show you how to do it on the big paper. I'm going to go ahead and grid this for triple the size, but if you already have a pretty good sized picture, go ahead and double the size. So I'm going to show you how to do this. We have 16 inches this way. If I triple my 4 inch side, that makes it 12. So 16 minus 12 is 4, which means I'll have 2 inches on this side and 2 inches on this side. That'll be white border, because when I go to mat these for the art show, I like to have a lip or an edge to lay that mat board over the top. So I'm going to measure 2 inches with my ruler. So 2 inches on this side, 2 inches on this side, and I'm going to double check and make sure there's 12 inches in the middle. And you may have to adjust a little bit because I am sitting down. And you want to make sure that's accurate. So, alright, so I've got that on that side, and now I need to do the same on the other side. I'm marking 2 inches, and then 2 inches over here. I'm going to double check and make sure that's 12 inches in the middle for my grid drawing. Yes, that side worked. And now I'm going to take my big straight edge, which in my case is a level. If you have a yardstick, great. Find some kind of long straight edge that you can use. Also, it's best to use a harder lead pencil for this, like a regular number 2 pencil, not your soft shading pencils, because we don't want it to smear. So the distance from here to here is 12 inches, which is 3 times my 4-inch side border, which gives me a 2-inch lip on the outside of this picture. Now I have to do this direction. I want my final grid drawing to be 21 inches because this picture is 7 inches, so 3 times 7 is 21. So I need a 21-inch space across here with a white border around the edge. If you're doubling your picture, you times whatever this is times 2 and figure from there. So I'm tripling, so I need to make a 21-inch long piece. So this is 23 inches and I just need 21. So I need to take an inch off of each side. So I'm marking 1 inch here. I'm going to mark 1 inch up top. Always make sure your ruler is straight. And then I'm going to use my straight edge to connect. Okay, so this should be 21 inches by 12 inches, which would be tripling the size of my black and white picture. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark every 3 inches. I'm going to mark every 3 inches on here so I can do my 3-inch squares. So I'm going to do this, and then I will show you the finished grid. Okay, so I've gridded out the picture. My grid is 12 inches by 21 inches, which is 3 times what I started off with, which was 4 by 7. So it should look, it should correlate like this. I have used a colored pencil on my black and white photo, regular pencil on my big grid, and I probably made it a little darker than I should just so you can see it on the camera. But this grid with pencil should be done fairly lightly. We don't really want to see the grid lines other than you being able to see what box you're in. So that's what it should look like once you've gridded it out. Everyone's numbers are going to be different though. The length and the width, or the length and the height of everyone's images and the correlating drawing. So, introductory art students, what I need to see from you by the end of the week is that your picture is gridded, and you need to make sure you're using the drawing pencils that I sent home in the baggies with you. You should have a couple different kinds of drawing pencils, a harder lead, some softer lead. Some of you even have the ebony pencil, which is the softest lead pencil that we have. I didn't have enough for every single person, so if you don't have an ebony pencil, you've got a good, really soft pencil like an 8B or 6B. The H leads are the harder lead pencil, and an HB is identical to like your regular number 2 pencil, which you can still use on this project. If you don't have access to drawing pencils, you can use a regular one. A lot of you got a little piece of what's called kneaded eraser. It looks kind of like silly putty, but it is an eraser, and it's good if you got too dark in a spot. You can lift off some graphite. If it gets really dirty, you just stretch it kind of like a piece of gum and fold it over itself, and it'll clean that graphite up. Everyone should have some sort of a blending stick, or this smaller version is called a tortillon. Either one work just fine. If you have both, great, but whether you have the smaller or the bigger version, they do the same thing. They're used for blending your shades together, and everyone should have some sort of an eraser. If you happen to have one of these in your packet, it's a little sanding block. You can use it for sharpening a point on your pencil, or cleaning and sharpening your blending stick. Don't peel these. We use the sandpaper, and you can use the sandpaper if your family has sandpaper laying around the house, in the garage or basement or whatever, and you're allowed to use some. You can use just regular sandpaper for that. Then once you get everything gridded out, you are going to be working box by box. I do not want you to outline the whole picture. So in this case, I don't want to see a whole outline of a dog before any shading happens. I want you to work solely box by box, and that's a hard thing to do sometimes. So a trick I like to give everybody is to get some copy paper or lined paper and cover up everything except the box you're working in. And if you can see this, don't think of it as a dog picture. Think of it as shades of gray, our value sphere worksheet, darks to lights, and you're going to just mimic with your pencil and your blending sticks what's happening in this square, right in this square. And you go box by box, and once you get a box totally finished, then you can just move your paper down to the next box and start shading in that box. I like to cover them up so that our brains aren't kind of competing with us to let us know they know what a dog looks like, and we need to look at it more as a value scale. And we'll slowly work through each box until we get a finished product. So the goal this week is to get your paper gridded. There are a couple people that have already started this, had it gridded before spring break. You all keep working box by box and send me what you've got so far. So by Friday, I want to see that the papers are gridded out, and if you want to go ahead and start, absolutely would be thrilled to see that you've started a box or two. Wednesday will be our art history lesson, so we'll concentrate on that then. But by Friday, I'd like to see your progress on the grid, that you've gridded your black and white photo with a colored pencil, and that you've gridded your bigger paper with regular pencil, and possibly even have started. So good luck to you. Email me if you have any questions, or send me a chat through the LMS. Can't wait to see how you guys are coming along.